Hey guys, hope everyone's well. It's your boy M.K.S here, back with part 3 of um, my ideas for empowering Indigenous, all possible Indigenous people from the Americas. And I've talked before about how I love to unite together all possible Indigenous people from the Americas somehow and empower them as much as possible. So hope I manage to achieve that one day. I suppose I always want things to be done straight away, but obviously they take time, which is something I've taken a while to realize in life. Like, things don't just happen overnight, but hopefully by no, this is the right term, but pushing the envelope along, I'll be making some progress. So hopefully as soon as possible, we'll be able to empower Indigenous people from the Americas. But anyway, hope you will enjoy this list of mine, and hopefully you check out parts 1 and 2 if you haven't already done so. So here goes. So number 21, I'd love to support Indigenous people from across the Americas to write their own biographies and tell their own stories of, one, their personal history, and two, their collective history. So Indigenous history, Indigenous people of the Americas history as told by Indigenous people themselves, and like where they can work together and encourage each other, and also like give each other tips about how to write their own autobiographies and things like that. And again, I'd love to have mentors. I talked about in part 2 and point number 12, like to help them and that sort of thing. To write their own biographies, and also the history of Indigenous peoples, and also what we can learn about from that history about like how to look after the environment, or just generally listen to history from the point of view of Indigenous peoples of the Americas, like what they think of Columbus Day or things like that. Number 22, again, I love to support Indigenous people of the Americas, especially women, to have their voices heard, and to look at ways to empower each other and support. Like, apparently a lot of Indigenous women have been going missing, and things like that. So I think it'd be good if they could like protect each other and look at ways to keep each other safe as well. And that sort of thing. And also, like, I'd love to support women in STEM generally, and that sort as well as writing and empowering women, especially as well. Number 23, I'd love to look at all possible ways of fundraising, and as I often say, I'd love to hear from other people's ideas as well about what ways people could fundraise, as well as like helping them to working out and looking after their diets and things like that. Number 24, I'd love to hear from Indigenous people about what they think of Indigenous Peoples Day and why it's important to them. As I know there are already a few videos like that, but hopefully be able to help them have their voices heard even more, and that sort of thing. Excuse me, talking about their views generally and what dates are important in their history, and talking about why. And again, just generally support them to have a voice, whether that's getting to speak more publicly, helping their activists, or helping their writers or poets, as I say, or artists, helping themselves to express themselves, basically, or helping them to express themselves, and that sort of thing. Number 26, I think. Number 25, I think. Lost count. And number 25, yeah, just to generally support them, help them to have their voices heard and to express themselves, and that sort of thing, and work together, and also like look at friends of Indigenous people and how they can support them. Number 26, on that note, I'd love to encourage anti-imperialists, anti-colonialists, anti-imperialists, and that sort of, those sorts of people, to support Indigenous people from the Americas as much as possible. As I've said before, like people of colour, support things like their writers, artists, maybe even buying their art or buying their books, or reading about them. I don't read that many books myself, but I hope to still support them in the best way I can. Like, if I can fundraise for them and just help them to tell their story and try and listen to them as much as possible. And I think it's really important to reparate them because of what they went through. Number 27, again, I'd love to especially support Indigenous women writers and poets and artists, and Indigenous women of the Americas in STEM, and also like look at companies that support them and how companies can support them more, as well as individuals, corporations and organizations, governments and NGOs, and like having a list of the top, say there could be a list of the top supporters of Indigenous women writers and things like that, or Indigenous writers generally, as well as poets and artists, as I say. Number 28, again, hopefully through writing they can take some of the negative situations which have happened to Indigenous peoples of the Americas, both men and women or people of all ages, and turn it around to a more positive thing. 29, again, I hope to encourage my fellow mixed race people and Anglo-Indians in particular to support Indigenous people of the Americas and look at possibly anything we might have in common, and also, as I say, support their projects and works as much as possible. Again, listening to their stories and helping them to express themselves. And number 30, hopefully make as many videos as possible like this and hopefully not repeat myself too much. As ever, I'd love to hear what you think, and please share any ideas or anything you want to share, any feedback or anything you can think of. And I think that's enough of me waffling, so I'm out. Peace and love.